Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Court Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta India Lapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Montzon Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together here on Facebook and on YouTube. Today is August 15. It is Friday. Where is our Friday? No Friday. No Friday sound effect today. We're just going to go ahead and deliver the content. As you know, this is a pre recorded broadcast. As you're watching this, we are just minutes from boarding our water taxi from Los Muertos Pier, heading to Yelapa to spend the weekend at Casa Antonieta, one of our community partners, thanks to another community partner, thanks to our dear friend Michael Buford from Bravos and Siam PV. We are able to spend this wonderful weekend out there and record some walking tours of the places where we're staying, the beautiful casas, and also to take a look at how the town has changed over the past decade. I haven't been there in a while. And for those of you that don't know, Yelapa is one of the several destinations located south of Puerto Vallarta within Banderas Bay that are only reachable by boat. So this should be a lot of fun. I have prepared a fun broadcast for today that revolves around a simple fact. Actually, even before we do this, let me do this. Let me start doing this. Here's something that you may not know. Ever since we started Coffee and Headlines 5 years ago, we have put on our Coffee and Headlines playlist on YouTube 1,677 videos. Yes. Now, most of these are the daily broadcast, but there's also a lot of evergreen content in there. Evergreen content is content that revolves around a topic that is always relevant. So for me, evergreen content is all those extra little mini features that I produce for you so that I can have a fairly long broadcast when there are not enough interesting news. Now, that is not counting other playlists that I have on my YouTube channel. There are walking tours, business walkarounds, Taco Tuesday walkarounds, Colonia spotlights, and past interviews from the spotlight. And if we add everything up, we have put together over 1,857 videos from the beginning of this adventure for you to enjoy. Yay! Now, of course, nobody goes around endlessly searching through a YouTube channel anymore. I certainly wouldn't expect you to do that. So what I've done for today is I've gone back into my archives and I have looked for content from the very first year, and I'm very happy to bring you our very first Coffee and Headlines Evergreen special. Yes, that's right. I went looking for videos that I have produced, some of which may have made it onto YouTube, some of which may have not. Then there are videos that may have made it to Facebook or not. But these ones caught my attention, and I'm going to show you some of the things that we were about during our first year to give you some perspective of how Coffee and Headlines began. And we are going to start with Let me cue this. Why am I not able to do this? Let me start with this one. Oh, we already looked at that. Oh, shoot. Let me pause because I need to change these titles. Hold on just a second. Whoop. Okay, so I've made some changes to my slides because I had set them up to have fireworks, but we don't need to have fireworks. Anyhow, this is the first short that I want to show you. This is called Stuck at Home. I recorded this on March 20 of 2020. This was 11 days before the first broadcast, the first live broadcast of Coffee and Headlines. Of course, at this point, the pandemic had just been announced, and we have been asked to stay at home. And I was thinking to myself, well, what am I going to do? I'm trapped in my house. I'm going to redecorate. So I put this one together. Take a look. Oh dear. And what's really funny about that is that that is the wall that I'm facing now when I'm doing Coffee and Headlines. We started in my studio, which is in the room next door, but this is where I'm doing my broadcast nowadays. So there you have it. That was an early video. We had not even started broadcasting, but I knew that in just a few days I would start broadcasting. So I was, getting my feet wet in the process of creating content on a regular basis. Now, Stay Sane is another short that I put together even before the first broadcast. This was from March 26, 2020. Producing content for you on a regular basis also has allowed me to be experimental with what I bring to the table. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not. But what I'm looking for is for opportunities to learn more about the tools that I have at my disposal. So keep in mind, this is 5 days before the first broadcast. I'm still terrified about the fact that I've set myself a personal deadline to begin doing Coffee and Headlines. And this is what was going through my mind. Check it out. Oh, and this is our original studio. Was I slightly terrified that we were about to start doing this project? Absolutely. And then came fear. Fear I put out on June 17 of 2020. This is, barely 3 months after we started broadcasting every day. And of course, we're all totally immersed in the chaos of the pandemic. So I put together this short just for inspiration. But again, always looking for ways, creative ways to use the tools and the applications that I have at my disposal to hopefully inspire everyone. Here we go. And of course, I will admit that, I've mostly forgotten how terrifying that period was. But revisiting these shorts is a nice reminder of how far we've come. And then after fear, we have Oh, the Murses. Good Lord. I honestly don't remember what was discussed on the broadcast, but for better or worse, I launched myself in a 5 minute discussion on male purses or Murses that I use on a regular basis. Go figure. This was recorded on my dining room table. So it's another angle of Casa Chaos as it looks like today. Well, as it looked like back in 2020, it pretty much looks the same today. Take a look.
So a few days ago, I talked about the fact that I have several Murses, bags for guys. And some of you expressed interest in seeing my Murses. I don't know why you would want to take a look at my Murses, but I'm happy to show you my Murses.
I still don't know.
Or better yet, my idea behind the Murses, because I think I always need to carry stuff around. So when it comes to Murses, I have three categories of Murses. There is the strictly social Murse, the just in case Murse, and the really big Murse. So the strictly social Murse is a small Murse that is useful to just carry your basic essentials. And my favorite one is this one. It's made by Puma.
Still
and
my favorite.
Here, I always carry things like, small little bags for headphones and cables. I carry my insect repellent, which is a must. I carry headphones for when I'm out and about and I want to listen to something. And what else do I have here? Oh, my antibacterial gel, of course, that is essential.
I don't carry that anymore.
And oftentimes, I carry this little wide-angle lens that fits my iPhone in case I'm doing some photography. And last but not least, this Murse is great for my iPad mini. My iPad mini is something that I carry just about everywhere, particularly if I know that I'm going to be running errands where I have to wait in line or have to do certain things and whatnot. I have this other strictly social Murse, which is Star Wars, being a science fiction freak.
Murse, yes.
I like it. It has one of the stormtroopers on the other side. I don't wear this as much as I used to. I don't know why. I'm just so used to wearing my Puma. So that would be the small ones. And the Puma is small enough to carry a pocket-size camera.
Yes.
If I need to, I'll tell you a little bit about all the chingaderas that I keep over here. Anyhow, this is what fits in my little strictly social Murse. If I know that I'm going to have the possibility of doing some work, shooting some video, taking some photographs, I want to bring something bigger than that, and that's what I call my just-in-case Murse. And my favorite just-in-case Murse is this Wenger Murse. This is the one that you see me wearing out and about most of the time, and it goes, around your neck. And I just love it because this is large enough to fit things like, these days, you have to have an umbrella, and these days, because it's really warm, you have to have, a fan just in case it's really hot out there. And of course, I have a tripod extension stick for my cameras and whatnot. So this is my favorite Murse to carry whenever I'm going to be out and about, and there's a possibility that I'm going to be capturing audio or video and things like that. When I know that I want to bring several cameras or several lenses or things like that, then I have to use a big Murse. And I have this big Murse. Oops. This big Murse is
which I haven't used for years because I've gotten practical and I don't like to carry that much equipment anymore. But I still have it and I still love it.
Actual photography bag. It's made by Low Pro, I believe. Yes, it's a Low Pro bag. And what I like about this bag is that it doesn't look like a camera bag. It just looks like a purse. But inside it has padded compartments that are removable. It has this little padded compartment so that you can put cameras and lenses and whatnot so that they don't get damaged in transit. And because the inside attachment is detachable, then you can actually remove it such that if you are traveling and you don't want to be carrying your photographic equipment, you can use it for general purpose. When I'm not using some of these accessories, I have this box here. I call this my chingadera box because this is where I put all the things that I would be carrying out and about, depending on what I'm going to do on that day. And when I say it's my chingadera box, I really mean it, because when I had it made, it's a chingadera box.
Okay, I got to stop there for a second because there's a lovely story behind that chingadera box. I didn't have it made. I don't know why I said that then. I made it myself. This box, think about when you go to Costco or when you go to a supermarket, you have all these cardboard trays where produce is presented. Well, back then I was doing a lot of recycled cardboard, paper mache stuff. So that was actually a Costco repurposed cardboard fruit container turned into a chingadera container. I don't do paper mache anymore. I've replaced it with crochet, and that's just the way it is.
In my chingadera box, you will find things like my GoPro, or my compass, or a little powered speaker, or this other fan, you know, all kinds of things. So there you have it. You wanted to see my Murses? I've shown you my Murses, and I've shown you my part of my living room. This is where I live. Yay!
That is so crazy. That is so crazy. And I will also admit, I don't have it anymore because I've stopped buying Murses, but I love bags. If I go to the supermarket, or if I go to the mall, or if I go places, I love to see bags, and I'm always tempted to get new ones, and I have learned to control that obsession. Now, here's Mexico's gifts, produced on September 8th of 2020. This one was produced obviously close to Mexican independence celebration, and I'm always looking for ways to showcase Mexico's gifts to the world when we get close to Mexican independence. Of course, years later, I ended up producing a 90-minute presentation on the music and food and culture behind Mexican independence, and I've enjoyed sharing that at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work for the past few years. It's coming back this year. It always sells out. But here is some of the content you can expect to have discussed or shared during this year's presentation. Let this be a tease.
What comes to mind when you think about Mexico?
Tacos.
For some, it is our colorful cities. For others, it is our traditional food. Or perhaps sipping a good tequila. There are countless inventions, discoveries, or practices introduced by Mexico from the beginning of times. Here are 5 you may not be aware of. Number 1, popcorn.
Made in Mexico.
Corn was domesticated some 10,000 years ago in what is now known as Mexico, and archaeologists have discovered remnants of popcorn dating from around 3600 BC. Today, we credit the Zapotec civilization for the invention of popcorn, which was later introduced to Hernán Cortés by the Aztec. Number 2, the toilet float.
Mexican invention.
It was at the end of the 18th century that Mexican philosopher José Antonio de Alzate y Ramírez began saving millions of gallons of water throughout the world through a simple invention that stopped water from overflowing into a fountain, eventually becoming an omnipresent feature all over. Number 3, color television.
Yep.
Considered Mexico's most prolific inventor of the 20th century, Guadalajara-born Guillermo González Camarena became fascinated with the idea of designing electric toys while he was still a child. He was 17 when, in 1934, he began developing the first color television camera, and only 4 years later, in 1938, he produced the first color television broadcast enjoyed by his brother Jorge. Number 4, tortilla making machine. Tortillas originated in Mexico during pre-Columbian times, and for centuries they were made by hand, a time-consuming task for your typical Mexican mother concerned with feeding her family. Although several devices were invented in the early 20th century to automate parts of the tortilla making process, it was not until 1947 that Fausto Celorio designed a machine that handled production from start to finish. Before we reveal number 5, here are 4 honorable mentions.
Oh yeah, bubblegum, chocolate, mariachi, guacamole, and the contraceptive
Number 5,
pill.
contraceptive pill. Used by millions of women around the world, the contraceptive pill was created in 1951 by Mexican chemist Luis Ernesto Miramontes, who at the age of 26 invented and synthesized an essential progestin for its development. In 1964, the contraceptive pill was chosen by the U.S. Department of Patents as one of the 40 registered most important inventions between 1794 and 1964, placing his name next to Pasteur, Edison, Bell, and the Wright brothers.
Tómala. So that was some of Mexico's gifts to the world. And this next one is a walk around that I did for Licks Ice Cream on the Malecon. Yes, we started doing promotional walk arounds of local businesses early on in the history of coffee and headlines. There are a bunch of them available on YouTube on the playlist. But what tickled me about this one is that this one I recorded 9 months after the pandemic began. And check out all the contraptions we were wearing. Face masks, face shields, all kinds of things as we began to return to normalcy. Take a look.
Hello everyone. Today it's Saturday and I just took a quick look at the garage sale at El Arrayan and decided to walk a little bit along the Malecon just to see how things are looking. It is nice and relaxed. There's not a lot of people here, and I see a nice combination of people that are wearing masks and some that are not.
Context. I just said that I had gone to the garage sale at El Arrayan. For those of you that don't know, Carmen and Claudia, that you probably know from Oculto, had the most successful Mexican restaurant, El Arrayan. They decided to close it. I went to the garage sale because I wanted a very specific piece from the restaurant, which is a couple of these buckets, metal buckets that they drilled so that they could put candles inside of them. And I love them, and I still have them here in the house. Anyhow, let's continue with this video.
Yes, it's the nature of the beast. And I wanted to come this way because I am looking for the new Licks that has just opened here along the Malecon, and I want to go check it out, and I see it. I know that this is a joint project between Licks and the new owners of Choco Diva. We're going to find out what things look like once we get there. I see they have a nice little space outside where you can sit down, which is nice. We learn here about Choco Diva's locally made Belgian chocolate all natural. And we learn about Licks' artisan gourmet ice cream.
And of course, that association between Licks and Choco Diva didn't last long. That's kind of a shady story. We're not going to get into that, but keep watching.
Let's go inside and have a look just to see what we find. This is located on the Benito Juarez parking lot, and so it makes it very, very convenient for people to see. And
Look
hello, hola. Este es el nuevo Licks. I'm looking at the new Licks. It is nicely decorated in traditional Licks colors. I see the blue that Kathleen and Todd always use, and I see, wow, they have a little area where they show you all the chocolates that Choco Diva is selling. Take a look at that.
Not anymore.
That is just absolutely wonderful. And of course, we're going to go take a look at next door to see what's available.
¿También tienen el de aquí al lado o no?
No, este es el restaurante.
Aha. So this is the new Chocodiva Licks Adventure. Look at all these flavors. There's milk and chocolate, vanilla, roasted cherries and chocolates, cookies and cream, berry and cheesecake, ginger ice cream, strawberry sorbet, toasted coconut, you name it. It's all kinds of wonderful treats that you can order here. And we like the location. We hope they do very well. And we're going to ask to see if Kathleen and Todd are here. ¿Están aquí los jefes? Okay, so los jefes are not here. We're going to get going, but I just want you to make sure that you knew where this was, and it looks really awesome. And we hope that a lot of people will be ordering ice cream from this location in the near future. Let's see what else we run into today. Have a good one. And again, just make sure that you know this was recorded back in November 16 of 2020. Chocodiva and Licks parted ways, and they're both very successful businesses. I'm glad to know that Licks is still at that location, and it is very successful as well. And we wrap up things today with this first anniversary thank you video that I produced on March 31st of 2021. After 1 year of Coffee and Headlines, you've seen this introduction before because in subsequent anniversaries, I have shared it. But this is the very first few seconds of the very first Coffee and Headlines. Look at how scared shitless I looked. And I was scared because I was venturing into a new livelihood venture. And of course, the pandemic had just started. We were all terrified with uncertainty. Check this out. And here we are. Good morning, everyone. My name is Paco, and I wanted to come live just to share a little bit of my daily routine with you. Usually in the morning, I wake up and I have my cup of coffee and I read my headlines. And what I thought I would do today is instead of doing it by myself, I could use some company, and maybe you can use some company too. So get some coffee ready and feel free to join me. Feel free to share with me a little bit of time as we read some headlines from the newspaper this morning and from the web. And feel free to say hi, feel free to ask questions, and I'll be happy to answer the ones that I can. The ones that I cannot, I promise I will not make anything up. Oh. And of course, look at me now. I've gained some weight. It's been 5 years. It's been over 5 years. So that was a quick and dirty look at some of the evergreen content that I was producing for you guys during the first year of Coffee and Headlines. It was a lot of fun to go looking through some of these videos. And yes, I keep everything. And this is the end of our pre-recorded show for today. I hope you have a great weekend. And of course, we will be back here live on Monday morning. As always, thank you for your support. It's been such a long ride and a wonderful one. And I continue to look forward to every single day. So have a good weekend. And I'll see you back here on Monday morning. Take care.